Good morning, Jake. How are you this morning?
Good morning. I'm great. How are you?
Good. And still in Tennessee?
I am actually. As soon as we wrap up here, I'll be hitting the road.
Hitting the road. Where are you headed?
So I'm headed north, up through Kentucky and up into Ohio again this week.
Okay. What's going on in Ohio?
I'm meeting with a couple of our distributors
Okay.
to kind of get a pulse on how things are looking in their markets.
Can you speak to how we need to go forward and what it is that Essential can do to help?
So I think we've kind of exhausted our disinfectant discussions. So that obviously comes to the forefront of our mind. But just beyond that, I think the thing that we can do the best for our customers is kind of what we're known for in the industry, and that's our floor care programs. So before I just kind of jump into that, why are we the experts in being able to talk to people about floor care? And it really comes down to the fact that we design, engineer, and manufacture all of our own urethanes, acrylics, and polyethylenes. We also manufacture our own crosslink, which makes us very unique in the industry. None of our other competitors can say this. So, what it means is that we directly control the entire process from cracking the monomer to create polymer. So, our quality control is completely in our hands. We're not reliant on a secondary customer that provides us with our polymers since we
Sure.
create them ourselves.
Wonderful. So when you go out and you're speaking to a customer, and we're trying to really help them in this time, when you look at somebody, they've got an existing gym floor and they don't want to redo the floors this year because they just hasn't gotten the traffic that it normally would. What's a procedure that you would offer?
Yeah, so on the daily maintenance side of the gym floor, we recommend our blue concentrate.
Okay.
So it's kind of our, we call it our Superman product. If you could take one product into a building and clean almost every surface in that building, blue concentrate would be that product. So it's multi-use, has multiple dilution rates to meet whatever you're trying to do. Beyond that, it has some really unique surfactants in it, which is just a fancy word for soap. And it also has chelating agents. So when products are mixed with water, almost every municipality has some level of hard water. So you have heavy metals, trace amounts
Right.
in the water. What happens is these trace amounts of heavy metals actually attack your surfactant. They attack your soap so that your soap can't do what it's designed to do, which is clean, would help lift and suspend dirt and soil up
Okay.
into the solution so that it can be picked up. So what chelating agents do is they surround that hard water, those heavy metals, so that they're not attacking your soap, so that your soap can lift and suspend dirt and soil into the solution to be picked up. So that's kind of what makes blue concentrate really unique in that aspect. Not only that, but when you clean with blue concentrate, it raises your slip coefficient up to the ASTM standard, which is zero point 0.5 or higher.
Okay.
So
So
we're cleaning the floor, but we're also making it safe for students to be walking on.
right. So how does that work? How does it raise the slip coefficient? Because, in my limited knowledge of soap, soap creates a slippery surface. What does it do? Is this part of the chelating agents? What does it do to raise that slip coefficient?
So what it does is when you effectively remove dirt and soil from the surface, you're going to raise that slip coefficient. The key
Okay.
is actually removing it, not just moving dirt around, but actually being able to lift and suspend it in solution so that it can be either picked up by the squeegee on an auto scrubber or picked
Okay.
up by a mop. So when we put the product down, we're creating, a slippery surface, of course, but it's effectively removing that dirt and soil that makes the floor slippery. Gym floors especially have a tendency to get really fast, really slippery when they get dirty. It's almost, if you can picture, in the cartoons when somebody walks over a bunch of marbles on the floor,
Yep.
they kind of have unsure footing and they're skating around. Well, not definitely not quite to that level, but when you have dirt and debris and soil on the floor, you do have a little bit of an uneasy surface there. So the tendency to slip, especially if you are playing sports, when you try to come to an abrupt stop, you're going to slide a little bit because your feet are landing on that dirt and soil versus the actual wood surface.
Really good information. So let's move on to the next steps. I've got a floor, I've got some functions coming up. I've had, like we talked about, having classrooms in these gyms, and I want it to look good. I need the floor to look good. So what's our next step as far as which product we should go to for that?
Yeah, so we call this kind of periodic maintenance, which is usually done just kind of as needed. But what we suggest is our citrus scrub and shine for that.
Okay.
And there are a couple of reasons for that. Number one, when we're talking about gym floors, obviously we're talking about our sport coat or our sport coat PC as the finish that's on these gym floors. The fact that these finishes can be burnished in itself makes this product unique. As most gym floor coatings on the market, you can't burnish, or you can burnish some of them, but you're not going to quite get the response that you want. You're not going to remove the scratches. You're not going to restore the gloss, and you're not going to restore the slip resistance back into that floor, much like one would think of maybe a VCT floor. So that in itself makes Sport Coat and Sport Coat PC unique. But with the Citrus Scrub and Shine, what it does is you can use it multiple ways. You can run it through an auto scrubber and then burnish behind the auto scrubber. You can mop it down with a mop, let it almost dry. You want it to be just a little bit wet, but not like puddled, and then run a burnisher over it. Or you can do my favorite method, which I think we get the best response from, is kind of the old school spray buff method. So you mix it in a spray bottle, you mist it down in like 10 by 20 section, give it a couple of minutes to sit, and then hit it with a burnisher. What you're going to do is the delaminine and the citrus scrub and shine, which is basically just it's acid from the peels of citrus fruits.
Okay.
What it does is it softens the finish, kind of makes it pliable, so that when you run over it with a burnisher, the softening from the delaminine and the heat that the burnisher and the pad produce is going to effectively redistribute the finish. It's going to remove scratches and scuff marks. You're going
Okay.
to raise your gloss, because anytime you remove scratches from a surface and make it a smooth, even surface, your gloss is going to go up. But it also raises the slip coefficient even more so than just cleaning with blue concentrate.
So you brought up an interesting topic in there, the delaminine, and you said citrus, which is really interesting to me. When I see something that says citrus on it, I think it's going to smell good. Is that true with this product? Other than the delaminine doing the action, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the smell of this product is incredible. That's one of the main points that we hear our customers talk about is how incredible it smells. So it does have a very citrusy fragrance. So if we're doing this process in a gym, you can smell this product typically from outside the gym, but definitely as soon as you walk into the front doors there, it's just a very inviting fragrance, and everybody raves about it.
Which is not something that's typical when someone is doing maintenance or cleaning a floor in a school. That's not a typical thing to know, oh, that's a good smell.
Right, absolutely.
So that's really cool. So, as usual, Jake, you've given us a lot of great information on what we're doing to help our customers get through this unusual time. We're keeping the floors clean and slip resistant while raising the shine with blue concentrate and citrus scrub and shine. That's all we have for this episode, but we invite you to come back soon and spend more time in the essential space. For more information, leave comments or questions on LinkedIn.